on the air. Pops, what time is it?
It's Chomp time.
It is Chomp time indeed. I am Mike, that is Pops. This is the Chomp Time Podcast. This is episode 24. Pops, we have gotten to 24 episodes fairly quickly.
And I think I've spoken maybe 15, 20 minutes in those episodes.
Combined, I let you host last episode, and I was all excited because when I went over, I'm like, well, he had to speak at least half the time. No, you didn't.
The word on the street was I did a hell of a job.
Apparently on your street, I haven't heard much over on my street. I thought you did pretty well. I'm going to let you try and let you talk for a while today, but I've said that for 3 weeks now. Episode 24, I have named The Shoe is on the Other Foot.
Ooh, I wonder what that means.
Yeah, true Florida Gator fans know at least one meaning of that title. We're going to go over the upcoming LSU game.
Yeah.
LSU comes to the Swamp to play the Gators. We will self-scout the Florida team.
Yeah.
Give the nation some predictions on what we think is going to happen in the game. And then at the very end, we're going to go over some jinxes, some curses, if you will, which have happened to the program in recent history that I think have derailed our momentum just as a football program.
Yeah.
So we'll go over that.
Yeah.
Pops, I want you to go over your usual uninteresting facts about the school we're playing, Louisiana State University. You're up.
Well, see, I hear this is one of the best segments that we do, is a little bit of information on all these schools.
Who are you talking to? Who are these people?
Two people.
All right,
here we go. LSU, home in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
Year it was founded? Any ideas?
1846.
Oh, close. This one was close. 1860.
All right. I was incorrect.
Okay.
14 years.
We got 38,000 students. That's university. Their mascot is Mike the Tiger.
Mike the Tiger. Okay.
Yeah. They also go by what kind of a tiger is it? Do you know what kind of tiger it is?
The Bengal tiger.
That would be correct, sir.
Yes, I'm correct.
That's correct. Now listen, there are two schools that have a live tiger on the sidelines. One obviously is LSU. That's Mike. Who's the second school? Obviously,
I think it's Princeton. Princeton.
Well, that's pretty close because Tigers. No, it's Memphis. The Memphis Tigers.
Memphis has a live tiger?
Well, they got nothing else going on. Okay.
All right.
A little bit about the university.
Please, I can't wait.
They have 52 combined national championships. 52.
All right.
Yeah. They got 7 in baseball. They've been known for baseball.
Yes.
They have 4 in football. 1958, 2003, 2007, and 2019. So they got 4. Out of the 52 national championships, 32 are men's, women's, outdoor, indoor track. So that's where the majority of their national titles come from.
Florida has a lot of those as well. So this is kind of a very similar sporting school in that we're kind of both everything schools.
Yeah, because the last few years, we've won both indoor and outdoor men's and women's track. So we're hot too. The stadium, it's called Tiger Stadium. Mm. It's also known as Death Valley. Can you name me the other school that's named themselves Death Valley?
Clemson. Give me something more difficult than that.
Well,
this is all I know. All I know is sports and restaurants, okay? Don't be surprised when I know all this garbage.
Okay. We're going to go get rid of all this garbage, go to the alums.
Can't wait.
We'll go to people instead of sports figures right now. Mike Johnson. He's the current Speaker of the House. Pretty important.
Yeah, he's important, sure.
James Carvell, known as the Ragin' Cajun.
He went to LSU?
Yes, sir.
I dislike him even more now.
I would agree. And the last one that I have down here is Joanne Woodward. Do you know who she is?
Joanne Woodward.
She was married to somebody for 50 years. They worked together in Hollywood. He's a very famous actor. He's no longer with us, but they were married 50 years, and you would probably know him for some of the foods he created.
Joanne Woodward, you're saying?
Yes.
Paul Newman.
That is correct, sir.
Boom! It's spaghetti sauce. I remember his face on spaghetti sauce
There
back
you
in the
go.
day.
And popcorn and everything else.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the recap there on the university itself. What do you got?
Wow, that was almost interesting, Pops. I'm impressed. You're really stepping up your segment there. What do you got in the cup there? Is it just water?
It's water, and you made fun of me because of the koozie, so I had to put it in a container. And I'll tell you again, the damn bottles don't stand up straight; they fall down. So that's why I had to put them in a koozie.
All I'm saying is I had never seen anybody use a koozie for a water bottle.
I'm just
And
telling you why.
I made fun of you a couple episodes. I see that you're no longer using it, so I have done my job. All right. LSU, Louisiana State University. In 2024, they are 6-3, Pops. They are 3-2 in the SEC. They started off the season losing to Southern Cal 27-20. Then they reeled off 6 victories in a row. Brian Kelly, their head coach, had LSU Nation pretty excited. They have since lost their last 2 in a row substantially. They lost
Yeah.
at A&M 38-23. They
Yeah.
lost at home last week to Alabama 42-13.
Wasn't
in
pretty.
an absolute drubbing that the Bluebirds were out in LSU.
Yes,
I believe
they
they
were.
were also throwing bottles on the field.
Well, I'll tell you, with about 8 minutes to go in the game, you could have lit a stick of dynamite and you wouldn't have hurt anybody because there was nobody left. There was nobody left in that stadium.
I think you meant you could have dropped a pin and would have heard a pin drop.
I said dynamite. I like dynamite better.
Yeah, so
Blow
if
the
you
damn
lit
stadium
dynamite, you would hear the dynamite in a crowd. Forget it. Forget it. All right, so head coach Brian Kelly is 63 years old. He started, where was the first school that he was a head coach of, Pops? And what is it important to me and you?
Well, he was the head coach at Grand Valley State University in
Correct.
Michigan. And
Yes.
my nephew, your cousin, played
Yes.
football for him both ways, offense and defense.
Yeah, we will just call him Joe for now.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly started at Grand Valley State as both, I believe, a wide receiver coach and a defensive back coach. And Joe happened to play both ways. So I remember Joe saying that the only thing he really said about Brian Kelly was 2 things. One, he's a complete madman, a crazy person on the sidelines. And secondly, that his dream job was to be the head coach of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Kelly quickly ascended to the head coach of Grand Valley State, where he was there for a while and ended up winning 2 Division II titles. He was 118-35-2 at Grand Valley State. A really good record.
Yes, sir.
He then got hired at Central Michigan, was only there for a couple of years. He was 19-16 at Central Michigan, but his last year there was a pretty good one, which got him the job at Cincinnati, which was, I believe, his real break. Cincinnati, he was 34-6 as head football coach.
Yeah.
Which brought him an offer to his dream job. Hey, quick question. What former Florida coach once said his head coaching dream job was Notre Dame?
Urban Meyer.
That is correct. So Brian Kelly went on to head coach Notre Dame for 12 years. He was 92-39. What I believe he will be remembered most for at Notre Dame, he recruited well, brought in very talented teams, won a lot of games, but never won the big one in his 12 years.
Right.
Couldn't push through. He got to the final game at least once. The one I'm thinking of was against Alabama, where they got steamrolled. It was like 42-14 or something.
Right.
Just outclassed on the field and outclassed coaching-wise as well. He then surprisingly took the head coaching job at LSU, where he is now. He's in his 3rd year. His first 2 years, he ended up winning bowl games. And his total record at LSU, he's 26-10, which is decent. 2 bowl wins, but with these last 2 blowouts, there's some murmurs in LSU that They are not happy with his performance.
For what they're paying him, they thought that they would have a couple of national titles by now. He's kind of similar in his path, not totally similar, but similar to what the old ball coach said. The old ball coach said, "Listen, 10 years is enough at a university. That's really should be the breaking point and move on." As he did here with Florida, and then he went into the NFL and coached for a while in the NFL, and then obviously he came out of the NFL kind of beaten up and decided to go to South Carolina and spend a little over. I think he was there for 11 years or 12 years at South Carolina. Same kind of similar thing. He always said that 10 years is enough at a university. You should move on. And I think Brian Kelly saw that at Notre Dame. He decided to take a different path. And when he left Notre Dame to LSU, he knew what he was getting himself into. I talked to my nephew Joe and said, does he know who he has to play every week in the SEC? It's not like Notre Dame. He goes, yeah, but he wants a national title. So that's the kind of similar path that he did. So,
do you know a couple things, Pops? Do you know that Steve Spurrier watches this podcast?
No, sir, I did not know that, sir.
Did you also know that he is not a big fan of yours? Did you know why he's not a big fan of yours?
Oh, boy, why?
Because you continually call him the old ball coach.
Well, he is older than I am.
He goes by the head ball coach.
He's an old ball coach.
If you will.
He's an old ball coach.
But let's go back to LSU real quick.
Love him to death, though.
Yes. He probably likes you, but start calling him head ball coach. So I will say in every episode, it's all about recruiting for college programs, especially in football. So I have the recruiting numbers real quickly for LSU. 2020, they were fourth, according to Rivals.com. 2021, they were fourth in the nation. 2022 was Brian Kelly's first class. It was a transition class. He got there late. They got 15th, which wasn't bad. And then his first real class as LSU head coach, he was fifth and comprehensive with transfers. He was fourth in the nation. Last year, they were 11th with high school, and then combine that with transfers. Their comprehensive ranking, according to Rivals, was 14th. So not bad. Now he has currently for 2025 the third ranked class, including 3 5 stars, a 5-star quarterback, running back, and athlete who could project to be a wide receiver.
Okay.
So they're loading up again. Their total offense in 2024 is 32nd in the country.
Not great.
That includes seventh in passing. They throw for 322 yards per game, and they're only 113th in rushing. So they like to throw the ball. In total defense, they're 69th. They're not very good in defense this year, and it's pretty much even between passing defense and rushing defense.
Yeah, their quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, he's thrown for 2,800, almost 2,900 yards. He's got 21 touchdowns, but he's got 11 interceptions. He throws the ball all over the place. They're two big running backs. Caden Durham has carried the ball 81 times for 460 for a 5.7. Josh Williams has carried it 68 times for 250 at a 3.7. And they do have another guy, Caleb Jackson, 42 times for 151 to 3.6. So, again, they're mostly a passing attack offense, but they throw the ball. He throws the ball up there. He's a gunslinger. This Nussmeier. So he throws the ball all over the place, and it shows by the 11 interceptions.
Yeah, and I'll touch on their receivers. Wide receiver Lacey, 697 yards and 7 touchdowns. They have wide receiver, I believe it's Aaron Anderson, has 40 catches, 4 touchdowns. And then they have another team with a really good tight end. Mason Taylor, I believe, was a 5-star coming out of high school. He's got 43 catches for 419. They do throw it around. I do see some similarities between Nussmeier and Beck in that they do get loose from time to time and find the other team with passes. So,
hey, just to interrupt her, friend, did you see the interview with the Georgia coach? Not too happy with his quarterback right now.
Okay.
There might be some changes. He said, I can't live with what's going on right now. So this is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
The thing I heard from the Georgia coach last week is he called one of his kids an idiot because one of his players was celebrating with the Ole Miss crowd that stormed the field. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
One of his players was jumping up. No, he was just joking around or whatever, but one of his players was jumping up and down with a couple of the students that stormed the field at Ole Miss. And they asked Kirby about it, and he said that he's an idiot. And then, of course, Kirby comes back and apologizes because God forbid you stand on calling one of your own team members an idiot for celebrating with the other team. You were correct in calling him that name, but I digress.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about UF real quick, Pops.
Yeah.
The game, so total offense. Florida is 73rd in the nation. We have a ton of injuries. I get it. There's plenty of teams out there with injuries. We have more than our fair share. But
Well,
this guy.
we were making strides until the last game and a half, and that hurts.
You're
We're
saying
making some
strides.
strides offensively, but then
You're saying strides like top 50. This guy's an offensive mind. We brought him in. It's his third year, and the best he got was like top 50. I don't like it. We are 100th in total defense. We've got a bunch of injuries there as well.
Yeah.
But ugh. The line on this game is LSU is coming to the Swamp, and they are favored by 4 points.
Well, let me
And
ask you something. Do you know the injury report yet as far as what's coming out?
I haven't
seen anything. I don't know if DJ's playing or what's going on.
I didn't see it, but I did hear that DJ practiced on Monday. He practiced on Tuesday. He felt better on Tuesday than he did on Monday, and I believe he's trending towards playing.
All right.
But yeah, the line is -4 for LSU at Florida. The over-under is 55. You put those numbers together, pretty much the books are saying LSU is going to win 29-26. Your thoughts on Florida coming into the game?
Well, we got destroyed last week, as we knew we would, with a freshman quarterback who'd never taken a starting job before. And again, I mean, I feel bad for the kid because he came in and had to finish the game up against Georgia, and then he's got to play against Texas on the road.
Yeah.
So not good. He was a little bit better in the second half than he was in the first half. But our main thing right now is run the ball. We got two unique, talented running backs, that 4 or 5 yards on a clip they can get. I mean, not at the end of the game, but during the first half, they were running at 4.5, 5 yards a clip.
Yeah.
We need to run the ball, control the game, control the clock. If DJ is back, that's a different story. But if DJ isn't back, run, and run some more. I don't like the way the kid throws the ball. It's just my personal opinion. If DJ is back, I would expect at least 3 bombs. At least 3. Because everything we've seen so far with this kid, he can throw a very, very accurate long ball. And it's been very effective for us when he does. So if DJ comes back, I have a very good feeling that not only will we be competitive in this game, we have a great shot at this game. We really do. I know who LSU is. I know what they've done to us historically lately in the last 10 years. But they're not the same team they've been in the last 10 years.
Right.
So,
no doubt about it. And DJ seems to look deep first to short, as opposed to a few quarterbacks on all levels that will look first, their short routes, intermediate routes, short to deep. I think DJ looks deep to short. He looks to expand, throw the ball down the field. I hope he plays, Pops, because I would like to see, well, you want him to be healthy, but you also understand it's football. So if he's not 100%, most players aren't at this point.
Right.
So if he's around the 90, 95% range, I want to see him play some more. I love watching him play. We have a better chance to win. I still say, even if he plays, we should run the ball quite a bit.
I agree.
I believe one of our most talked about, underrated parts of our team,
offensive line,
could be the offensive line. They seem to move other teams off the ball, no matter who we're playing. I mean, they did a hell of a job against Texas. There's no way that Texas, um, had any respect for Warner. So they
Right.
had people all around the box, and we were still getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. So kudos to our offensive line. Kudos to our entire team for still continuing to battle,
Yeah.
given the challenges we've had.
I said in the first podcast that we did when we were talking about the upcoming Miami game, a team is determined, in my opinion, for the whole year, is determined by the offensive and defensive line. And when we started, we weren't good at either side. But the offensive line has done tremendous job of opening up holes for the running backs. In the last 4 or 5 games, the defensive line has done a pretty good job. Not as great because we don't get many sacks, but
Right.
we we've been decimated in the secondary.
Yeah.
6 defensive backs. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's too tough. You're
Yeah.
playing straight freshmen that have never played before. It's just too tough. But the lines on both sides of the ball for the Gators have done much better than they did as the start of the season.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I think we are going to have some major issues on the back end. If we want to win this game, we might have to blitz, and which means we might have to go into man to man because we can't get. It seems like we can't get much pressure just sending 4 guys. And if
Right.
you can't get much pressure with our third, fourth, and fifth string guys on the back end, this guy Nussmeyer and their receiving core, they might
I
just rip
think
us apart.
you make a very valid point. With all the young players that we have playing DBs, we have to get to the quarterback to screw them up a little bit. So we need to blitz. I agree with you 100%. It's to the time where we got nothing to lose. Okay, at this
Yeah.
point, we got nothing to lose. Let's just let it out, and if we can put some pressure on Nussmeyer, that will help out the secondary.
Yeah, and if DJ's playing, I wouldn't mind Temple. Whenever DJ's in the lineup, I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind Temple. I just
yeah.
really believe in him. I believe in his decision making, his arm, his brain, his legs. If DJ for some reason doesn't play, I again stress we should take the air out of the ball, shorten the game, run as much as we can, and try and win the game 20-17 or 17 to
Right.
14.
Hey,
I think
listen.
DJ's gonna. Yeah.
I noticed that there was a post online by one Mike Hughes basically saying, congratulations, we got 2 kickers in the upcoming recruit.
I have been, right or wrong, closely been monitoring Rivals.com and recruiting for roughly 20 years.
Yeah.
Has it been a complete waste of time? Somewhat. At least I'm getting some use for it here. But I have never, ever, in my 20 years plus of watching recruiting, seen any team, much less the Gators, sign 2 very highly thought of kickers in the same cycle. I don't
I
know.
mean, if you sign a kicker and a punter, that's 2 different things.
But listen, I think all punters and kickers are known as kickers to rivals.
Yeah.
However, I think both these guys are well known for being place kickers.
Yes.
If DJ stays, you get another year. It's pretty much that simple. Even if we somehow lose to Florida State, I think if DJ stays, he will get other guys studs to stay, bring other guys through the
Yeah.
transfer portal, and Billy will get another year. I would love to see a fresh start, a fresh season start with DJ as our quarterback, as our leader, with him as our guy, his team. I would be very excited, not so much for
We,
Billy.
we'd like to see 1 year of us being healthy. I mean, relatively healthy. I mean, this
Yeah.
has been an unprecedented year with the number of injuries, the sole number of injuries on certain positions, quarterback, running back,
Yeah.
defensive backs. We've gotten decimated. I mean,
It's been bad. It's been bad. So
yeah.
what is your prediction on the game, Pops?
My prediction is Gators 32, LSU 28.
Oh my God. My prediction was Gators 31, LSU 28.
Woo!
We did not speak before
No, we did
this.
not. No. Wow.
That's eerie. So,
Wow.
yeah, Pop says 32-28. I say 31-28. We'll see if we have any credibility, if we are trending up or we are trending down as far as how the game goes. All right,
Yeah.
let's finish off this episode, Pops, with I named episode 24, The Shoe is on the Other Foot.
I
And
got it. I got it now.
the most obvious reason is a few years back, we were in a position, we had a tough game against LSU in the swamp.
Right. Tie.
I think it was a tie game,
Tie game.
and we had just stopped them on third down, and they were going to punt to us. We had Kyle Trask and company. All we had to do was drive down. We had a good field goal kicker, kick the field goal, win the game.
Correct.
After the third down stop, what happened?
Well, the running back shoe fell off, so we had a player that decided, well, I guess he doesn't need this shoe. Picked it up and heaved it about 20 yards.
Yeah, Marco
And
Wilson.
that would be a 15-yard penalty, and then history. LSU went on to score.
Yeah, it was Marco Wilson, one of my least favorite Gators of all time. He somehow got drafted in the fourth round by the Cardinals the following draft. And I'm like, have you talked to any Florida Gator fans? He was not very good
No,
for his entire time
no.
at Florida. And that shoe toss, some will say that was the curse. And there's been some interesting talk about how are we going to reverse the curse this year at the swamp? Like somebody's going to throw some shoes on the field. I don't want anybody throwing stuff on the field. I don't want to be known as the idiots from LSU or Texas who throw debris on the field. No, stop that. But I'm intrigued to see if we can somehow reverse the curse. So I think the way we reverse that specific curse is if somebody is running in a Gator for the game-winning touchdown and maybe somebody accidentally and he loses his shoe, or an LSU guy took off his shoe in an attempt to tackle and we still score, that I believe could reverse the curse. But
All right.
that was the one most recently. I still say the fumble at A&M by Malik Davis, the Kyle to Kyle at Kyle game where Kyle was making a run for the Heisman. I think that fumble by Malik Davis that led to the loss cost us. Will Greer on PEDs, that was not fun. He went on to have a huge career at West Virginia. He was a fan favorite of Florida, and he was kicked off the team. I don't know why we just didn't suspend him for a couple of games. Here's an interesting one, Pops. Emory Jones was a quarterback that Mullen selected, from what I can tell and what I can hear, over Matt Corral, who had a good career at Ole Miss.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Yes, he did.
Matt Corral was committed to the Gators on campus it was either, I think it was Mullen. It might have been Muschamp at the time. It was in between Muschamp and Mullen. He was on campus at our new indoor practice facility with another commit named Jamar Chase was committed to the Gators at that time. And then all of a sudden we decided on Emory Jones. And Matt Corral soon thereafter decommitted, went to Ole Miss. Soon thereafter, Jamar Chase decommitted and went to LSU. I thought that was a turning point. Pops, I have one final curse to talk about. You and I and Mom were watching this game. It was a Gator opener. This was years ago, probably 8 years ago, maybe. Well, it was 2014, so it was 10 years ago. Idaho versus Florida. We had waited. Muschamp was our coach. We had waited all off season. It was a pretty bad season beforehand, and there was a lot of positive momentum going into that season. We finally get to the game, and it's Idaho versus Florida, and it was supposed to be a nice night.
Yeah, I remember.
And what happened?
Well, lightning struck, and then the sky opened up, and as it turned out, no game.
Well, yes, it was supposed to be played. It was kind of a surprise thunderstorm.
Yeah.
It originally was a 45-minute delay.
Yeah.
So after waiting the whole off season for a brand new start and a lot of new players and positive momentum. We waited 45 minutes. 45 minutes turned into an hour, into 2 hours. It ended up being a 3-hour delay. And then they did kick the ball off. And there
Right.
was one play. It was a kickoff to Florida, and it was returned by a guy named Valdez Showers as it was coming down. He returned it 64 yards, probably should have scored, and I think that would have counted as a victory because right after that play, one of my old fraternity brothers, his last name, I will tell you in a second, I recognized him immediately. He came out to the referee with a walkie-talkie saying that he saw lightning. So they suspended the game after that. His last name was Flood. So there was one play returned by Showers.
Showers.
The guy that ended the game permanently was an old friend of mine with the last name of Flood, and that game was canceled.
Yeah.
And it was just, what was it, 3.5 hours of ugh. So that was kind of a curse. I know it was a
Yeah.
long story. F you, America. I was interested in that story. I dug into that rabbit hole. I found out some things. I wanted to relay the story. Who remembers it? If you remember it, great. If not, F you. We're going to, wrap up this episode. I am Mike. That is Pops. This was the Chomp Time Podcast. This was episode 24. The shoe is on the other foot. Relates to the Marco Wilson incident. And then also we have a chance to kind of end their season like they've ended our season in the past. So let's go ahead and do it. Come on, Gators.
Get up and go. Go Gators.
Take care, everybody.